There we go. All right, got that all fixed. So right away, Cursed Hollow, we see hashtag don't care versus volumeZERO. So this should be a pretty good match. Both of these teams are very solidly in for the playoff picture here in Division 2. Win, lose, or draw. Of course, there is no draws, but win or lose, both of these teams are going to be in the playoffs for Division 2. This is just more of a seeding match. The winner is going to get a much higher seed in those brackets. And let me see. Oh, I see what's going on here. I apologize, folks. I got the wrong browser in here. It does not, for whatever reason, does not care for Internet Explorer. So there we see. Brightwing and Samuru are going to be the ban outs here to start this off. So the instant Malfurion pick by hashtag don't care. I really like that pickup. Malfurion's really good on this map. Good sustainability for those tribute fights that seem to sometimes last eons. Zarya and Li Ming, the pickups there for volumeZERO. Two good picks as well. Both very good at being able to poke. Excuse me. Both very good at being able to poke out those tribute phases, getting a decent amount of damage out. And Zarya also very good at absorbing some of that damage and being able to return it. The shields are also really nice for sustain on those tributes. But ETC is going to be the pickup here for hashtag don't care. And that's not a big surprise. We've seen a lot of stage dive ETC. And this is a really, really big map. It's really critical for teams to have some form of global presence for that mobility, that ability to split push and then bring somebody in. And ETC does a nice job of being able to split push and then stage dive right in the middle of the fight, right when you need him. So I imagine that's probably going to be where volumeZERO's going at here with that pick. Second pick up here, they could decide to try and get themselves a Tychus if they're seeing volumeZERO. Might be going for that. Double tank build, but instead is going to go Falstad to get another global presence hero. Or if they do elect to go stage dive, ensuring that they'll have at least one. Ban phase coming here. We could see a little bit of a tank chokehold, or could see maybe a little foreshadowing of what volumeZERO wants in their next two picks with this ban. A lot of options on the table, but nice job by hashtag don't care. They've gotten a good solid spread of heroes. They've got a really high-profile tank in the format. ETC's always been really relevant. They've got the best healer in the game right now in Malfurion, and Falstad, who is pretty incredible on this map. So they've done a good job of not pigeonholing themselves into a corner here, where volumeZERO can easily ban them out. They are going to elect to ban the Tychus, which tells us very, very clearly that volumeZERO does want to go double tank. They're going to want somebody else on the front line with Zarya, and that's not a big surprise. Zarya, pretty underwhelming as a solo tank. She's not somebody that you want to have alone in that front line. So having another big, beefy tank to be able to help her out is really nice, and Tychus is kind of the antithesis to that strategy. Lily will be the ban out here from hashtag don't care. That's an interesting bit of information. They want to prevent the blinds. That is definitely something that volumeZERO should be able to pick on at this stage in the draft. Is, hey, these guys want to prevent us from getting blinds. Maybe we should pick up Johanna right now, because volumeZERO could be given away. Possibly going with with any any auto attack build hero. ETC also does feed those auto attack heroes pretty well with that increased attack damage. So they could be going with something standard like a Vala or a Lunara, but they could also be trying to get their hands on Illidan and just want to make sure that it's not countered really, really hard by Brightwing and Lily, the two healers that they banned out. So anyway, Uther comes out here for volumeZERO, along with Alarak. Alarak, a very strong hero in the meta right now, and also pretty strong on the front line. So I really, really like the draft coming out so far from volumeZERO as well. Both of these teams drafting very, very well. All four of these heroes are heroes that, and that's probably going to be an Illidan. Interrupted my thought process. It is indeed Going to be a Tassadar Illidan here on Cursed Hollow. Very, very big map, so a great map for that. But like I was saying with volumeZERO, they did a nice job of drafting those 4, and that's going to help them out a lot with this last pick. It leaves them very open to be able to pick up whatever they want, and they've just got, you know, all the options in the world right now. So we'll have to see what they want to pick up. They could go with another frontliner, so nothing. There's nothing really too threatening for the side of hashtag don't care. So another hero to be able to help peel off of Leeming, like a Johanna that has blinds. They could go with more backline damage. Could go with something like a Lunara, but realistically, burst damage is what you want against this team, right? Malfurion, Tassadar are going to be very, very good at enabling. And so they're going to go with Artanis. So it's kind of a mix of both. Artanis is very well enabled by the fact that there are no blinds on the enemy team at all. Artanis really struggles with somebody that can blind him a lot. And it's good solid engage potential. But Artanis also has a really beefy health pool. Can help enable the Zarya in that front line, but can sustain himself. What are the stream links? I will get you guys that stream link for sure. For the Twitch channel. All right. So it looks like we're about ready to go here. Cursed Hollow draft is finished, and you know, I got to get it over to volumeZERO. I feel like they are drafting with the times. This is a very old style draft from the side of hashtag don't care. Vintage Cursed Hollow draft, if you will. Something you would see some of the best teams in the world back in the day. Like Cloud9, this is exactly the kind of thing that they would run with the global presence and you know, and the double support for the extra sustain. And they're going to have good solid sustain on these tributes, but ultimately volumeZERO did a nice job of countering that with having good solid dive and engage potential here. They've got decent CC potential to be able to get in and kill somebody. Probably Falstad or Illidan will be the main focuses. But I don't like Illidan's chances of being able to hop around in those team fights and really get very enabled. Malfurion's heals are really slow. Tassadar shields can keep him up for a little while. But if Alarak gets in there and silences him, and then it's followed up by a stun from Uther, or possibly a swap from Artanis to get him back into position, and Leeming lays a lot of damage out him. These can get very, very ugly and very, very dangerous for, you know, for somebody like an Illidan. So I think that Artanis pick was really nice to be able to help peel. One of these tanks are probably going to be on, you know, on dive duty to try to disrupt Falstad and Malfurion from doing their jobs well, and one of these tanks probably Artanis. But it could go either way. I'm probably going to be more based on the idea of making sure to protect the back line and just following Illidan around, making his life difficult. But we'll see. You know, a lot of Cursed Hollow is about strategy. The drafts are always important in Heroes of the Storm, no matter what map you're on. But Cursed Hollow is probably one of the least draft critical maps in the game, in my opinion. It's more about timing the camps, timing your rotations to the curses, and acquiring those curses to get big, big dividends. So that's probably more of what we're going to see in this match, as it ends up being a battle of wills and a battle of strategy. Because, you know, both of these teams have drafted pretty decently for the map. I don't think that either team has really drafted poorly in any way or made any kind of critical errors. But I would give a slight edge to volumeZERO just based on this draft here. But we are loading into Cursed Hollow. Again, these are two very solid teams from Division 2, so I look forward to seeing a lot of really good play coming from them, and would be surprised if we end up being disappointed from the skill level coming out of these teams. Winner is going to get a good solid lead in the playoff race to be able to get a good seed near the top. It won't be at the top, but and like I said, whoever loses this match is pretty much in. I pretty much guarantee it. In fact, I'm actually going to go out on a limb and say I do guarantee it, because I did study it a little bit in Division 2. My team's kind of on the line Probably not quite going to be there in top 20, but either one of these teams, when one of these teams lose, they're probably going to be in the top 15 or so, I would say, at the very lowest. So anyway, let's go ahead and introduce these teams. On the left, we do have hashtag Don't Care with Blings playing Tassadar, Turkala on Malfurion, Caustic on ETC, D-Rec on Illidan, and Ryu 475 on Falstad. On the right, we have volumeZERO, Magnetic on Li Ming, Gur on Alarak, Sleepy Bear on Uther, Rego Maru on Artanis, and Tay gonna be playing Zarya. Both of these teams instantly coming right to the mid, and see Tassadar right away using that passive to be able to get vision on the enemy team, giving them a good idea of what they need to watch out for here. And right away we do see it is going to be the stack build coming out, Gathering Storm or Falstad. We see he will fly to the top to be able to get that in time. Illidan rotating to the bottom. So right away, hashtag Don't Care, living up to their name in terms of not being willing to fight here in the mid. They go straight out to lane, and they're going to get the advantage in the soak battle just a bit. But it does look like Alarak is going to make the rotation to get nearly all of those minions as they get pushed into the wall. So very nice job from volumeZERO responding to that strategy and getting in there to at least be able to get those with the minion soak going. Tay getting pretty low in there, but those shields helpful in that sustainability, being able to be in deep, still get some work done. This is going to be Magnetic's game. You know, I feel like that a lot of this is going to depend on the Li Ming. If Magnetic and that whole team of volumeZERO can get those resets rolling in these tribute phases, it's going to be a big deal, but it's going to be tough with the sustainability. Tassadar and Malfurion, two of the best sustained supports in the game to be able to keep people alive long enough to enable them to get their work done. So we'll have to see if that is indeed the case. Coming up on 2 minutes here, we'll start to see these camps spawning. We'll have to see if either team does indeed elect to go ahead and send somebody out to maybe capture, start working on these siege camps as they go ahead and pop up on the map. And not just yet. First tribute will be coming soon, so standard strategy here on Cursed Hollows to go ahead and go grab those right away around the 2 minute mark and then rotate in, but it does look like neither team is going to focus on that. They're going to go ahead and clear, focus on the soak, and then going to focus on those rotations. We see a nice rotation coming in from both of these teams. Falstad goes back to heal, but can always fly back in. And we are going to see Tribute has spawned here in the bottom right away. D-Rec getting in there deep, but able to avoid a lot of damage, and it's being enabled here. Jumping all over Gur, following him all the way to the back. That is chasing Gur directly out of this match. But he will be able to come back in here as D-Rec will fly in to try and put some pressure on Artanis instead. The battle of the sustains, man. Ultimately, though, Uther is not going to be able to sustain too long, but they are able to get Illidan, and here come the resets. Magnetic going in there, trying to pressure, but Tay also doing the same, trying to zone for Gur, as Gur does indeed have that cast off, but nice root from Malfurion will at least be able to stall that out for the moment. But that's going to be the only one, as that Moonfire just a little bit too late there from Turkala, getting that second interrupt out. But first tribute of the game, going over to volumeZERO. They were able to lock down that Illidan. Very nice stun coming out there from Sleepy Bear, being able to lock him down long enough for the team to collapse in and kill him. And they got the resets rolling, which proc the backup there from hashtag Don't Care, and they win themselves the first tribute. Both teams pretty even on XP. They got up. Both teams got back out to lane pretty quickly. Didn't lose too much soak. Still looks like neither team really prioritizing the camps at this point, but I take it back. D-Rec does actually go on up after suffering that first death of the game and the first blood. Does go ahead and go out and get that siege camp. Not electing to time it at this point, but we'll have to see what the timing is like. this and where this next tribute spawns. It did spawn in the bottom, so there's a good chance it could be in the top this time around and not get quite as much value, but it does. RNG gods in the favor of hashtag don't care. That is going to spawn the rotation from Artanis, and all of a sudden the siege camp is going to get some pretty decent value. Falstad also going ahead and pushing it on in there, and the fight is on. Tribute is here, and right away catching out Malfurion a little bit. Terracalla is going to have to be careful with that positioning, but Tay also going to have to be careful on the other side. Sleepy Bear not able to keep the heals up, will also go down here, and all of a sudden hashtag don't care, cutting off the exit routes here for the side of volumeZERO. They get themselves a couple kills, and it's going to be a third one here on Artanis as well with a nice collapse. This is going to be free tribute for them, and they're also going to get some solid damage done in this top lane. They also have done some really nice pushing in the bottom lane, so despite losing that first tribute and that first kill of the game, they get themselves a 3-for-0 exchange here, the second tribute, and they've been doing some really nice siege damage all across the map so far. Going to be most of that top wall. The bottom wall is completely gone. Getting a little bit of damage even on the mid at this point. We will, however, see on the other side, nice rotation here from volumeZERO. They're going to go ahead and take a page out of hashtag don't care's book. But meanwhile, on the other side, they got to watch out, because I don't think anybody's scouting this out. Illidan's been missing for quite a while to be able to get the boss down this far. And like I said, they don't seem to have a clue that this is going on. Very nice from hashtag don't care. This bottom lane, the wall is completely gone here. 2 tributes spawning in the bottom means that it is a guaranteed spawn in the top for this next one, and it will indeed be a little over to the favor of hashtag don't care in positioning, but that boss pickup is going to be perfectly timed, and hashtag don't, and I should say volumeZERO is going to have to choose whether to go after this tribute or go after the boss, and it does look like they are going to do the former. They're going up to try and get the stall out and get the interrupts on this while the boss pushes in the bottom. And it does look like hashtag don't care is not really focusing too much on this, but the silence comes out, and Illidan gets completely blown up. D-Rex getting a little bit too far in there, a little too hypey. With this team not rotating, Falstad didn't rotate, Malfurion didn't rotate, but the boss is getting a ton of value here. Level 10s have been picked up by hashtag don't care, and we'll have to see whether or not volumeZERO can get this done quick enough. Oh, grr! It's really close to that pick off, and no follow-up there on Ryu, but really nervous moment for him. But like I said, we'll have to see if volumeZERO can manage to pick up these level 10s. They should have time, especially with being able to still soak this bottom lane. Tay gonna go ahead and help finish off this boss and be able to probably soak enough in that bottom lane to get themselves level 10, and they will be able to compete. This is going to be curse point for the side of volumeZERO. Going to be a very important moment for them, as they are about a level behind at this point, and they're way behind in the siege structure battle, so they really need this curse sooner rather than later to be able to really catch up and not let this game snowball out of hand from hashtag don't care. They've been playing a very solid game, and yet again, this very well-timed camp capture in the mid is going to force volumeZERO to make a choice on whether or not they want to rotate to the trib or whether or not they want to try and clear the mid. They're going to choose to fight, but a very nice slide into Mosh Pit. 3-man Mosh, catching everybody but Magnetic, and that wave of force not in time to be able to help them out. They're going to lose Uther right off the bat. Not the worst hero to lose early in a team fight, though, as he will still be able to contribute heals, and D-Rec getting very low in mid there, but Tay is ultimately going to go down. And as is Artanis, that is going to be a rough. That's a 3-for-0 exchange. And here comes hashtag don't care. They're not done with this team fight yet. They're going full on in here. Falstad will go ahead and pick up that tribute. But they're going to aid the push of these bruisers that they picked up. Very nice play there from hashtag don't care. They are showing up and working for it here. Trying to get this extra. Oh, and the wall coming in with the root. Control for days as soon as they hit level 10 with that Cassadar wall. Also getting some solid value up in that top lane. And they're going to rotate to the boss. It does look like they're maybe baiting this out a little bit. Looking for a sloppy rotation from volumeZERO. And it is going to be scouted out by Tay, though. It's not a bad rotation. But are they going to fight this? It does look like they're going to go ahead and elect to. Magnetic a little out of position in the bottom. And the Tribute's going to spawn in the bottom. Advantage going over to hashtag don't care and their globals. But we will see D-Rek using that Metamorphosis a little bit early here. But Ryoku, or Ryauku, gets a little bit low here and is being caught out. But ultimately they will be able to get back to the wall. Nice Divine Shield coming out there from Sleepy Bear. And Magnetic actually gets the rotation in to pick up that Tribute. It is going to be going over to volumeZERO. Very clever rotation from Magnetic. Going to go ahead and rotate out around the Safeway, which I think is definitely the right way to go with D-Rek hanging around. Is actually going to show here on the bottom, and D-Rek might be able to punish this. Is indeed going to give it a shot. Meanwhile, in the top lane, we see Ryu getting a little bit of value out of that Gust, being able to get him out of a tough situation. And Li Ming and Illidan go blow for blow in the bottom lane, take each other out. Meanwhile, in the top lane, the push continues here from volumeZERO with this curse, but the slide in from Caustic is going to get Rego Maru out just a little bit here. I'm going to get it right eventually, I promise. We will see the denial there in that area.
Hero slain.
But ultimately, it is going to be Artanis getting caught out and going down. Nice rotation there from the side of hashtag don't care.
Let the curse end.
That expulsion zone causing that redirection. But ultimately, it did get Artanis cut off there. Maybe could have tried to rotate back to the team, but ended up going around, trying to go around the bottom way. And nice response from hashtag don't care, following up and getting that kill. Meanwhile, D-Rek did his job. You know, he didn't allow Li Ming to free push. Went toe to toe, and literally a tie there with Magnetic, making sure that there wasn't going to be too much value in that solo bottom push. If he loses that battle, you know, they probably lose the front wall of that keep. Meanwhile, a very aggressive rotation coming in here from volumeZERO. They want to force a fight here before 16, and they're going to catch Darkala out a little bit, but he is ultimately able to rotate away. Is going to go ahead and pop those heals to keep himself alive. But nice response there from hashtag don't care, being able to get their Malfurion out of that situation and not allowing the pick, being as passive as possible here. Falstad's also going to have to get out, but will be able to barrel roll his way out of trouble. But they are able to pick up that level 16 before they get into a big team fight. It's a pretty big deal for them. You know, the tribute was picked up, but what value did they really get out of it? They got the bottom fort, but that's about it. They're still over 2 levels behind, and still going to be curse point here for the side of hashtag don't care as they have the 16 advantage. The nice slide into the mosh pit is going to catch a few, and Artanis is even going to go ahead and get pushed back into that. D-Rek getting very, very low in the middle of that, though. Li Ming will go down. That's going to be a 2-for-0 so far. Very, very nice dive in here from hashtag don't care, and they're going to pick up a 3rd kill as well. Sleepy Bear is not going to be able to get out of this situation either. So a 4-for-0 exchange. Incredible play here by hashtag don't care. Good solid commitment coming in from them. You know, they go as a team. Win, lose, or draw. They are all on the same page, and it's very impressive to watch. As they are going to go ahead and fall back, collect this tribute. And with members still coming up here for volumeZERO, this is going to be a pretty rough moment for them, as Curse is going to come out and start to work these structures. Will they elect to go for the boss? It doesn't look like it. Most teams usually preferring to not go for boss, but instead go for structures. And we are going to see Blings getting out here a little bit. But he's Tassadar. He can always just phase his way out of trouble. No big deal there. Falstad doing a nice job of clearing that camp on bottom, pushing this lane out, that global presence. He can always come back in. Caustic did not elect to go stage dive, so nice to have Falstad for at least one of those heroes. And Sleepy Bear going to be dived in on. D-Rec going very, very deep. He is going to get, going to be able to avoid that silence. Caustic, however, not so lucky, getting very low, will be blown up by that Calamity from Magnetic, and they are on the chase. They are looking to get more, but Rio with a nice gust. That's you know, that's life facing a Falstad, right? You get a good engage going, and he just turns around, blows that gust right in your face, and says, "No, thank you. Come again later."
The curse is over.
We're not about this life. We don't want to fight right now, and that's exactly how it goes. They'll just back up and pick up their boss, and no big deal. Level 16 is right around the corner here from volumeZERO, and speaking of being right around the corner, they're not going to be too far away when this boss is picked up, but the rotation just a little bit too late. But they will be able to at least rotate in here and clean the boss very quickly. Without ETC, no immediate threat. However, the rotation coming out here from #Don'tCare, they're going to go straight up to that other boss. And I don't know if volumeZERO is going to be able to rotate up to contest this in time. Even if they did, it would be a 5v5. But again, they do have level 16, so it is something that they could consider still. But boss is underway, and there is no way they're going to be able to make this rotation in time. So #Don'tCare, you know, laying on the pressure at this point. Doing a very, very nice job of applying that pressure and just not letting up. volumeZERO is going to have to rotate up to the top and clean that. We could also see #Don'tCare pushing in with this. They are about 2.5 levels up. They're about to have a 3-level 12% stat advantage as soon as they pick up just a little bit more XP. And there it is. Huge advantage here as Artanis getting caught out a little bit. And we'll get that Divine Shield just in time. The stage dive's only going to catch 2 and will be interrupted pretty quickly by Magnetic. They're doing a nice job of defending, but ultimately it does look like, well, no, Artanis is staying alive in the middle of this. But Sustain coming out from #Don'tCare as the keep goes down. The boss still pushing. Uther is going to be the first to go down. And D-Rec just being completely enabled by this sustained healing. Everybody being able to stay alive. Terracotta getting a little bit low, but ultimately, they just don't have the kill potential over on the side of volumeZERO to be able to keep up with this. The slide will come in, Tay is going to go down, Artanis soon after, and that is going to spell GG. Illidan can do the rest pretty much by himself, but is going to like to go ahead and try and chase them off a little bit. But it is going to be the big win going over to #Don'tCare with an incredible play at the end, proving me wrong, bringing out the vintage comp for Illidan here with a little bit, maybe a little spice added in with the Malfurion pick. But very, very impressive game. They were aggro when they needed to be aggro. They backed off when they needed to back off with that Falstad, with that gust, to be able to disengage whenever they wanted. And they just controlled the entire match from the get-go. You know, a couple moments there for volumeZERO where they had, you know, they got that first tribute, they got that first kill on Illidan to be able to lock them down, but ultimately, after that point, this Illidan comp from #Don'tCare just kind of hit its power spike and was able to just do its work. Let's take a quick look at some of the talents. Very standard build coming out there from Blings on Tassadar. It's exactly what you would expect. Malfurion going Shando's Clarity, and also going with Versatile, not electing for the increased range, but instead getting the extra mana in this sustained situation. Cleanse coming out, of course, to be able to counter Sleepy Bear, and Cleanse, one of his better talents, one of his most viable talents there on 7. Electing to go Tranquility, which makes a lot of sense. It was a bit of a dive comp from the side of volumeZERO, but ultimately it was going to be a sustained battle from #Don'tCare. That's what they really wanted to go with. So Tranquility does aid you a little bit more in a sustained scenario, along with Life Seed, getting all those extra heals out, and then Roots to be able to get the Roots out a little bit faster, farther, better, stronger. Pogrock coming out from Caustic on ETC. Mosh Pit was really a valuable tool for them. They hit a lot of those mosh pits hard, and they capitalized on it very quickly. It was some very, very good coordinated play coming out from them. Fairly standard build coming out from Illidan, friend or foe, to be able to get out of those tough situations. The consecutive dive damage, so very, very standard build. Gathering Storm, so going kind of mage Falstad style. He did a really nice job with Gus. If I had any one big thing to pick out of Ryu's play there, he had some very, very timely Gus. You see some Falstads throwing games with that ability, and this was not one of those situations. Pretty standard Calamity build. We see a lot of Calamity with Wave of Force and Mirror Ball, especially against heroes like Illidan, like Samuru that we've seen recently. It has a really good burst potential on somebody that's getting in your face. You can get right back in their face and blow them up. I don't feel like enabled a whole lot by the team. And the big problem was the big support comp. The double support was really, really powerful against that early Li Ming pick. It was the second pickup. No way that they could have seen the Tassadar Illidan coming out of those first 3 picks from #Don'tCare. Gur doing a nice job. A lot of good solid displacements with that telekinesis, doing a nice job of moving people around. And we didn't see a whole lot of value out of Deadly Charge, though. I didn't see a lot of oh my god moments with that Deadly Charge, but I felt like that they were constantly on the back foot in the back half of the game, so there weren't a lot of opportunities for him to really size that up and go in a big engagement situation. Uther going with the Wave of Light, the Holy Radiance build there to be able to help with the interrupts, which is very standard on this map. Yes, it will be on YouTube as well as on the Twitch channel. There we go. Big congratulations, by the way, to Blings, team captain over there for #Don'tCare. It's a great Tassadar game. Good solid sustain. I think that was the big part that won them a lot of this. I think that Tassadar pick was really, really clutch for him. But some pretty solid and well-timed Divine Shields coming out as well. I was really impressed with Sleepy Bear hitting some of those to be able to keep Artanis alive when they went in and they were engaging, or even just trying to retreat and get out. The Divine Shields were really timely, but I think the snowball lead was a little bit too big. Reflective Parry, so going more of the tank build, which makes sense when you're trying to be on that front line, but a little mix of both there for Rygo Maru, what I'm going with. Not a big Zarya expert, I guarantee, but Expulsion Zone, going for that denial, which makes a lot of sense on this map to be able to stall out if you're trying to pick up a tribute. We see a lot of Zaryas going with the pull-in Expulsion Zone. Not a very popular heroic, but can see a lot of value in it on maps like this where you really need that area denial. So that is going to be it for this match. I got another one coming up in just a little bit for you guys. It's going to be another Division 2 match, so I hope you guys will tune in just a little while, and I will hopefully see you guys then.